Okay, let's get this over with.
Hey, Bri. You got Igor's note, too?
Yep.
Hi, guys. Igor sent you guys notes, too?
You mean the one that reads, "To whom it may return, you are heretofore invited to join me in the big fire room at 8:00 to celebrate the castle's annual Halloween tradition." And it's signed, "Yours in Christ, Vince."
It's amazing we all knew exactly who sent it and exactly what it meant.
Do you guys know what the castle's Halloween tradition is? I hope it involves us getting lots of candy.
Oh, that reminds me. I brought you guys each a special bag of my homemade candy.
Homemade candy? That's very kind and thoughtful of you, Brian. And totally out of character.
Candy! Wow, thanks, Brian. I'm going to eat mine right now.
You're welcome, Sam.
Where's Igor, anyway? It's 8 o'clock. I've got stuff to do.
Ahem. I am here, sirs. Come inside. Join me in the big fire room.
You know this is actually called the Grand Ballroom, right?
Well, that don't make no sense. There's a big fire in the fireplace, but I don't see any balls anywhere.
That's because Brian's ex-wife still has his.
Watch it, you.
Well, what's a big tradition you mentioned in your note, Vince? Thank you for asking, Stan. What's that he's cramming into his face?
I brought homemade candy. Here, I even made a bag for you.
Oh, gosh, thanks there, Dr. Handsome. That's very smiley and generous of you and makes me wonder if you've been replaced by a reboot.
Well, that's what I said. Kind of.
So we're here. You mind telling us why?
Certainly, Dr. Impatient. You see, back when Dr. Master was alive, he and I engaged in a special tradition each and every Halloween night. And now I would like to continue it with all of you.
It's not sexual, is it? Although it is Halloween and things are supposed to be scary. Okay, I'm in.
Always with the sewer mind. No, the tradition was that Dr. Master and myself would gather here in front of the big fire and tell scary stories. And now that he's gone, but not forgotten, I thought we could do the same thing. That sounds like fun. We should totally do that. What do you think, guys? Should we do that? I think we should totally do that.
I don't know. Halloween's kind of a special night for me. It's the one night of the year where every woman dresses like a tramp, and I want to get an eyeful. Or give one.
Yeah, I have a lot to do, too.
On Halloween? What do you have that's so important?
Nothing. I just have other plans and some important research to conduct.
Sorry, Igor. Maybe next year, huh?
I thought that you might say that. Oh, sis,
Yes, Vince.
please institute the Halloween protocol.
Of course.
What the hell?
Sis, override Halloween protocol immediately.
Unable to override Halloween protocol. Cannot unlock doors until every life form in the room has told a scary story.
Are you kidding me?
One scary story each. Deal?
Fine, let's just do this.
Excellent. As you can see, I've placed the leather armchairs around a roaring fire hole. Yay, this sounds like fun. All of us together on Halloween. I can't wait. Does anyone have any more candy?
What do we do about him?
I always keep a tranquilizer gun ready for just such freakouts.
Nice shot.
Thanks. I get a lot of practice with the velociraptors.
But won't a tranquilizer just put him to sleep?
Oh no, the sleepy juice should exactly counteract the sugar clogging up Stan's tubes, returning him to normal,
So to speak.
so to speak. I feel all woozy and dizzy like I'm not sure where I am.
What do you know? It worked.
Please pick your seat, but be sure and wash your hands afterwards. I love that joke. It's the only one I know. Now, who would like to go first?
Fine, I'll go. Just so we can get out of here. Once upon a time, there was a...
Hold on a minute there, Dr. Handsome.
Now what?
Sis, please remove the echo dampers.
Removing dampers.
Echo! Echo! There, see? Isn't that better? More scary-like.
Can I go now?
Continue, Dr. Snippy.
Once upon a time, there was a mad scientist who was obsessed with ruling the world. He worked and toiled in his laboratory for years to create a virus that would cause anyone exposed to it to become his mindless slaves. Unfortunately, the scientist couldn't perfect the airborne version of the pathogen. This meant he had to find a delivery system and the opportunity to infect the entire populace of the town in one night. That's when he was struck with a brilliant revelation. Halloween was coming. The scientist labored feverishly to inject his virus into thousands of pieces of candy, which he handed out to all the little children who knocked on his door. The children, greedily gobbling down the infected candy, instantly became his zombie minions. The scientist then gave each child a vial of the virus with which to infect their parents' food. Soon, the scientist controlled the minds of everyone in the town. Then the zombie townspeople scattered, spreading the virus to those in the next town, and then the next, and the next. Soon the entire world population was under his control. No one challenged his authority. He was king of all he surveyed. All hail Lord Brian.
All hail Lord Brian?
What? No. Not Lord Brian. I said Lord Byron. The mad scientist used his powers to teach an appreciation of 18th century romance poetry. Scary.
Right. Hey, Sam, you want my bag of candy?
Boy, yeah, wow. Thanks, Punch.
Nice. You think it's effective, so you give it to Sam.
I figure it won't have any effect on him since he's already pretty much your personal zombie minion.
Valid.
Thank you for your most excellent and mildly frightening story, Lord Brian. Posh, would you like to go next?
I suppose. It was a cold autumn night as a traveling salesman drove down a dusty country road.
Oh my god, a traveling salesman story? Let me guess, the farmer's daughter turns out to have the clap.
It's not that kind of traveling salesman story, okay? I didn't interrupt your King of the Zombies story.
Okay, sorry.
It was a cold autumn night as a traveling salesman drove down a dusty country road. His old jalopy, barely held together with spit and baling wire, coughed and gasped and finally gave up the ghost, coasting lifelessly to the side of the road. With no other option, the salesman grabbed his suitcase full of samples and began walking, using the light of the full harvest moon to navigate his way. Growing tired, he spied a lone farm in the distance. Stumbling through the rutted fields, he approached the farmhouse and knocked tentatively on the front door. It was answered by a kindly old farmer who invited the salesman inside despite the lateness of the hour. Though the farmer had no telephone to call a tow truck, he offered the salesman a place to spend the night, promising to drive him into town the next morning. "Why not tonight?" asked the salesman. The farmer gave him an ominous look. "It's best not to travel these woods after dark," he said grimly. Reasoning that he was hungry after his long walk, the farmer prepared the man a plate of food, a heaping helping of every kind of meat imaginable: steak, sausage, pork, ribs. The salesman dug in, starved. He complimented the farmer on the quality of the meal, surprised by the unique taste of the delicious, tender, juicy beef. The farmer just grinned. "I have the best meat farm in the state," he boasted. After eating his fill, the salesman began to feel sleepy, his vision blurring. He was so tired he fell asleep right there at the table. His last sight, the face of the farmer smiling down at him. Slowly waking, the salesman was surprised to find himself chained to a wall in the farmer's barn. He gradually became aware of a snick, snick sound somewhere nearby. Calling out, he was silenced by the sight of the farmer stepping out of the shadows, sharpening a giant butcher's knife on a leather strap. Snick, snick. The salesman asked what was happening. Why was he chained to the wall? The farmer smiled a terrible smile. "I told you I run the best meat farm in this state." Snick, snick. "You just never asked what kind of meat." With that, the salesman turned to see every pen in the barn filled with people, all staring back in terror, all chained in place. The salesman began to scream as the farmer went to work with his knife. First, he cut off his legs. Snick, snick. Then he sliced off both his arms. Snick, snick. He surgically opened the skin on his torso, exposing his ribs. Snick, snick. He slit a hole in his abdomen. The salesman, feeling the wet unraveling of his intestines uncoiling onto the barn floor. Snick, snick. The last thing he saw was the crazy look of hunger in the farmer's eyes and the glint of light on the blade as it was raised to his throat. Snick.
Oh my God. Was that guy okay?
No, Sam, that guy was definitely not okay.
He cut them all up, didn't he? He cut them all up into tiny little pieces.
Yep. Tiny little pieces. Just like you savages do to the animals you eat every single day. Ha! Chew on that.
Oh, so this was a vegetarian story?
Yes, Sam, it was a vegetarian story.
Oh, now I'm not scared anymore. I'm actually kind of hungry. Anyone want to go to Horny's after this?
No, you totally missed the point.
No, we got the point. It was a hippie horror story. What next? A man who makes rope from hemp and then gets hanged with the rope for drug possession? The spine-chilling horror of irony.
Not a hippie, Brian.
Stan, buddy, you ready to tell your scary story? You guys know I don't like spooky stuff. I don't know any scary stories. You must know one. We're not getting out of this room until everyone tells a story.
Come on, Sam. I have to hand out my candy. I want to hand out my candy to all the little kids.
And somewhere, in some bar, there's a repressed librarian dressed like a Japanese schoolgirl, ready to have a night she'll look back on with regret. And I am that regret.
Well, I might know one.
Spit it out, pal. Time's a-wasting.
Okay. A mean lady's father dies, and she's all mad because he only left her his old, rickety, spooky mansion. But when she hears there might be treasure inside, she goes to visit but finds out the house is haunted by the ghost of a dead child and 3 other evil ghosts who scare her away. Then she hears about a man and his daughter who help ghosts and make them leave places, and she gets them to come to the house to make the ghosts go away. When the man and his daughter get to the mansion, the dead child tries to make friends with the daughter, but then the 3 evil ghosts come and ruin everything. But then the dead child ghost and the daughter make friends, and he tells her about how his father invented a machine that would make ghosts back into alive people. Then the mean lady comes back and learns about the alive machine and wants to use it in bad ways, and the 3 evil ghosts kill the man, which makes his daughter sad. But the dead child ghost and the daughter fool the evil lady. Oh, did I mention she died too? She died too. Anyway, they fool her and make her go away, and then they let the man use the alive machine so he can be with his daughter again, and everyone's happy on Halloween, and even the 3 evil ghosts who are good ghosts now, and it all works out okay. The end.
I'm disgusted that I actually know this, but isn't that the plot to the movie Casper?
Yep. It's the scariest movie I've ever seen. That doesn't have Transformers or Cameron Diaz in it.
Okay, that's it, right? We all told a story. Sis, you can open the doors now. We're done. Sis, you hear me? I said we're done.
Not quite done. I still have my story to tell.
Oh, sorry, Igor. I didn't think...
There was once, this time was a very happy hunchback who lived a wonderful life with his beloved master.
Is this story about you, Igor?
No, Dr. Hanson. This was another hunchback. Let's call him Meegor.
Subtle.
Anyways, he was very happy until his beloved master up and died, leaving the hunchback.
Meegor?
Yes, Meegor. Who else? Leaving the hunchback, Meegor, in the care of 3 evil stepsisters.
Stepsisters?
Pardon-moi, but I did not constantly stick my butt into your scary stories, now did I?
Proceed.
The stepsisters, did I mention they were ugly too? They were so ugly. Anywho, the stepsisters worked the hunchback mercilessly, even shooting him full of Cupid arrows at one point. Get it? Point? I guess I know two jokes. All of this would have been hunky-dopey with Migor, except for one thing. After all his hard work, the evil stepsisters never invited him to play in their Rain Man games. This made Migor very sad, and he never really felt like part of the group. So one Halloween night, a night much like this very one, Migor gathered all the stepsisters into one room to tell spooky stories. Stories very much like the ones we're telling tonight.
But not actually tonight, just like tonight.
Very much like tonight.
Please, gentlemen, I am not a hack. But the stepsisters didn't want to stay. They each had plans that didn't include Migor. So Migor locked them in the room and forced them each to tell a scary tale. Each of the ugly, I mentioned they were ugly, right? Because they were hideously ugly. Each of the ugly stepsisters told a story that, in keeping with their selfish natures, was actually more about them than anything else. When they had finished, they all wanted to rush off and do their fun time things, never even considering that Migor might have a story to tell. And since Migor still had the key to the doors, they were forced to listen as he wove a tale far into the nighttime. Hours passed, and they found themselves hypnovated by Migor's previously unknown storytelling skills.
Oh, I guess it really isn't about us.
When Migor's story finally ended, the stepsisters looked up to see the light of sunrise steaming through the windows. Migor had kept them all trapped until morning, not allowing them to venture into the night and realize their nefarious schemes.
That's it?
That's it.
You aren't going to keep us here for hours and hours so we can't realize our nefarious schemes?
Nope, you're free to go. Thank you for a wonderful night. Sis, you may open the doors.
Door opening protocol engaged.
I wasn't kidding about hornies. Who wants to grab a burger?
I could go for a couple big sloppy pickle burgers.
You guys know you suck, right?
Hey, why is it so bright out here?
It's sunlight. It's morning. Wait a minute.
There's no way. We were in there, what, a half hour tops?
Igor,
Yes, Dr. Handsome.
is there something you want to tell us?
Oh, by golly, you're right. I forgot the most important part, the moral of the story.
Which is...
Never screw with a time-traveling hunchback. Trick or treat!
SideShow Lounge is produced by Hello Cowboy Productions. All rights reserved.